Somewhere in Hong Kong, on the 17th floor of a building that never quite goes quiet, a woman named Malaya is folding towels at 11 at night. She is thinking about home. She is always thinking about home. Her daughter is turning 7 today, and Malaya is not there to blow out the candle. Just a video call, buffering, on a cracked phone screen. This is where her story begins. And it begins, quietly, with a number. A number that would, in time, change everything. Malaya left Iloilo 3 years ago, with one suitcase and a promise. She would work hard, save everything, and give her daughter, Sunshine, a better life. Every month, she sends money home, for tuition, for her mother's medicine, for a roof that doesn't leak. She tells herself it's temporary. She has told herself that, for 3 years now. Some nights, the ache of missing them feels heavier than any suitcase she ever carried, heavier than she lets anyone, even herself, fully admit. Her days start at 5 in the morning, and rarely end before 10 at night. She cares for an elderly man who forgets her name sometimes, but never forgets to ring the little bell beside his bed. She doesn't mind the work. She minds the silence in her small room after, when there's no one to say goodnight to. Just 4 walls, and a photo of Sunshine taped above her pillow, its edges soft and worn from 3 years of goodnight kisses pressed to paper. Tonight, after the video call drops for the 3rd time, Malaya sits on the edge of her bed. She checks her phone. 10:10, just a time, she thinks. Nothing more. She closes her eyes, and lets herself cry, quietly, the way she's learned to, so her roommate won't hear through the thin wall. She wonders, some nights, if all this sacrifice is even leading anywhere at all, or if she is simply pouring herself into an ocean that never fills. The next morning, she boards the bus to the wet market to buy vegetables for the household. She glances at the fare screen as she taps her card. $10.10. She almost doesn't notice, but something makes her pause. A small flicker of recognition, like a name she can't quite place, like a familiar voice heard through a closed door. She shakes it off. Coincidence, she tells herself, and steps off at her usual stop, the number already quietly lodged in her mind. That afternoon, while organizing receipts for her employer, she finds one from the pharmacy. The total. 10.10, she stares at it a little longer than she means to. 3 times now, in less than a day. Her chest tightens, not with fear, but with a strange, quiet curiosity. As if something, or someone, is trying to get her attention, gently tapping on a window she didn't know was there. She folds the receipt and tucks it into her pocket, close to her heart. That night, she can't sleep. She opens her phone and, almost shyly, types into the search bar, "What does 1010 mean?" She isn't sure why. She isn't the type to believe in signs. Her mother back home always said, "God speaks in the language we're ready to hear." Malaya never quite understood that, until this moment, alone in the dark, waiting for a slow page to load, her thumb hovering above the screen like it might disappear if she blinked. The page loads slowly on her old phone. The words settle into her like warm tea on a cold morning. Angel number 1010, it says, is a signal of new beginnings. Of alignment. Of a soul stepping, gently, back onto its rightful path. It is called, by some, a portal, a doorway between where you've been, and where you are being called to go. Malaya reads it twice, then a 3rd time, as though memorizing a prayer she didn't know she needed. She learns that 10 is the number of completion and divine trust, and that when it repeats, doubled, it becomes a portal of realignment. One journey ending, another quietly opening. She thinks of her own journey. 3 years of goodbyes. 3 years of birthdays missed. Could this ache actually be part of a larger door swinging open? She doesn't know yet. But something in her, something tired and guarded for a long time, softens, just a little. She closes the phone and looks at the ceiling. 1010, she whispers into the dark, testing the words like a new language on her tongue. Outside, the city hums its endless hum. Somewhere far below, a taxi horn. Somewhere far away, in Iloilo, her daughter is sleeping under a blanket Malaya bought 2 Christmases ago. Malaya doesn't feel like she has answers yet, but for the first time in weeks, she feels like she's being asked a question, and that, somehow, is enough. Days pass. The number keeps finding her. On the elevator panel, floor 10, the light flickers exactly at 10:10. On a grocery receipt. On a stranger's jersey at the park. She starts keeping a small note in her phone, a quiet, private list of every sighting, dated and timed like evidence in a case she's building for herself. Her friend Divine, another caregiver from Cebu, teases her gently. "Are you keeping score with heaven now?" She laughs. Malaya laughs too, but she keeps writing them down. One Sunday, her only day off, Malaya and Divine sit in a park full of other Filipino workers, sharing rice and stories under a banyan tree, the one corner of Hong Kong that feels almost like home. Malaya tells her about the number. Divine goes quiet for a moment, then says, "My Lola used to say, when God repeats himself, it's because we weren't listening the first time." The words land somewhere deep, somewhere Malaya didn't know was still waiting to be reached. That night, doubt creeps back in, the way it always does. Malaya thinks, maybe it's only a coincidence. Maybe she's just tired, and tired minds look for meaning anywhere they can find it. She scrolls through old photos of sunshine, her first day of school, her gap-toothed smile. The guilt returns, familiar as an old coat she never quite manages to take off. Am I choosing money over my daughter's childhood? She wonders. No number, she thinks bitterly, can answer that for her. She calls home the next evening. Her mother answers, voice crackling through the distance. "Enike, are you eating enough? You sound tired." Malaya wants to say everything, the loneliness, the doubt, the strange number following her like a gentle shadow she can't quite shake. Instead she just says, "I'm okay, Ma." Her mother pauses, then says softly, "You've always given everything to everyone else. When will you receive something back?" The question hangs in the static between them, gentle and enormous. That question stays with Malaya long after the call ends. When will you receive something back? She realizes she has spent 3 years pouring herself out, and has never once asked what she, herself, might be walking toward. Maybe the number wasn't only about beginnings for her family. Maybe it was also a door for her. A door she had been too tired, too busy, too used to sacrifice, to notice was even standing there, quietly, patiently open. At work the next day, she overhears her employer's daughter talk about a caregiving certification course, one that could qualify Malaya for higher pay, and eventually, a pathway to bring her skills back home to open a small clinic assistance service in Iloilo. It's just a passing comment. But Malaya's heart quickens. She glances at the clock on the wall without thinking. 10:10, she almost drops the cup she's holding, steadying it with both hands, breath caught somewhere in her chest. That night, she can't stop thinking about the course. It costs money she doesn't easily have. It means less to send home, at least for a few months. Old fear rises fast. What if I fail? What if I'm too old to study again? What if this is selfish, wanting something just for me? She sits with the fear the way you'd sit with a frightened child, gently, without rushing it away, letting it speak until it grows quiet on its own. She remembers what she read about 1010 being a portal, not a guarantee, but an invitation. An invitation always asks something of you, a step, a decision, a small brave yes. Nothing opens on its own. Doors are portals only for those willing to walk through them, she thinks, even on trembling legs. Malaya lies awake, turning the thought over slowly, like a stone smoothed by years of river water, familiar now in the palm of her hand. The next morning, she wakes at exactly 6:40, but her phone alarm, set for 6:30, somehow shows a notification time-stamped 10:10 the night before, a reminder she doesn't even remember setting. A chill moves gently across her arms, not of fear, but of being seen, truly seen, in a life where she has so often felt invisible. "Okay," she whispers to the empty room, feeling almost foolish for speaking to no one. "Okay. I hear you. I'm listening now." She messages her mother that day, carefully, testing the idea out loud for the first time. "Ma, what if I took a course here? It would mean smaller remittances for a while. But it could mean a better future, for all of us." She waits, heart pounding, for judgment, for disappointment, for the word, selfish. Instead, her mother writes back, "Anak, we didn't send you away to only survive. We sent you to bloom." Malaya reads the message 4 times, tears blurring the screen. Something in Malaya breaks open, gently, like the first light of morning breaking over rice fields. Not a breaking of pain, but of permission. Permission to want something for herself. Permission to believe that new beginnings were not selfish, but sacred. She thinks of the meaning of 1010 again. The old chapter ending was never a punishment. It was simply making room for what comes next, clearing space the way a farmer clears a field before the planting season begins. She decides. She will apply for the caregiving certification course. Her hands shake slightly as she fills out the online form on her cracked phone screen, sitting on the edge of her bed at nearly 10 at night. She hesitates before pressing submit, then glances at the clock. 10:09, she waits. Breathes. At exactly 10:10, she presses the button. A small, ordinary click. It feels like anything but ordinary. It feels like a key finally turning in a lock. 2 weeks pass in a blur of quiet, hopeful waiting. Malaya keeps working, keeps caring for the old man who forgets her name, keeps calling home every Sunday without fail. But something in her has shifted, gently, like a tide turning far out at sea. She walks a little taller. She notices sunrises she used to sleep through. She catches herself smiling at strangers on the bus, the way you smile when you're carrying a secret, hopeful kind of light. Divine notices the change first. "You look lighter," she says one Sunday, under their banyan tree. Malaya tells her about the application, about her mother's words, about the number that wouldn't stop finding her, no matter where she turned. Divine squeezes her hand. 1010, she says slowly, like she's tasting the words for the first time. New beginnings, alignment, right? Maybe, it's not just following you. Maybe you've finally started walking toward it, one small step at a time. The acceptance email arrives on a Tuesday, while Malaya is hanging laundry on the rooftop line, wind pulling gently at the sheets like the whole sky is exhaling. Her phone buzzes. She almost ignores it, thinking it's spam. Then she sees the subject line, "Congratulations." Her breath catches, and for a moment the whole rooftop seems to tilt gently beneath her. She reads it twice, then a third time, sitting down slowly on the ledge, the city spread out below her like a field of quiet lights. She checks the timestamp on the email out of habit now, almost expecting it. Sent 10:10 a.m. She laughs out loud, alone on that rooftop, tears sliding down her face before she even realizes she's crying. Not sad tears. The other kind. The kind that come when something you were too afraid to hope for, quietly, finally, arrives, unannounced, exactly on time. She looks up at the wide Hong Kong sky and simply says, "Thank you. I hear you." That evening, she calls her mother first, then Sunshine. Her daughter's small voice fills the screen, gap-toothed grin wide as ever, hair a little messier than Malaya remembers. "Mama, are you coming home soon?" Malaya's heart aches, the good kind of ache now. "Not yet, Anak," she says gently. "But Mama is building something, for both of us. A new beginning." Sunshine tilts her head, the way children do, and simply says, "Okay, Mama. I believe you. I always believe you." Over the following months, Malaya studies in every spare hour, on the bus, during breaks, late at night after the old man is finally asleep. It isn't easy. There are exhausted evenings when she wants to quit, when her eyes blur over the textbook pages and the words swim together into meaningless shapes. But every time doubt creeps close, the number finds her again, on a classroom clock, a study app notification, a bus ticket stub, gentle and persistent as a hand on her shoulder. She stops calling them coincidences now. She calls them what her mother always called them, small mercies. Little nudges from somewhere gentle and wise, reminding her she is not walking this road alone. Even 4,000 kilometers from home, even folding someone else's laundry at midnight, she is held. She is seen. She is, however slowly, being led somewhere new, somewhere she is only just beginning to be able to imagine. 6 months later, Malaya passes her certification with distinction. Her employer, moved by her dedication, offers to sponsor part of her further training, and connects her with a small agency that places certified caregivers in better paying, more stable positions. It isn't a fairy tale ending. It's better than that. It's a real one, built slowly, with tired hands, late nights, and a heart that refused, even in its most exhausted hour, to give up on itself. With her new position and better pay, Malaya finally starts saving, not just sending, but saving. For the first time in years, she opens a small account with a plan attached to it. In 2 years, she will have enough to help her mother open the little sari store she always dreamed of, and enough to finally, go home for Sunshine's birthday in person, not through a screen, but with her own 2 arms wide open. She marks the date on her small calendar, taped beside Sunshine's photo. Sunshine's next birthday. Malaya smiles every time she looks at it. Funny, she thinks, how one small number, appearing again and again in the most ordinary moments, a bus fare, a receipt, a clock, became the quiet thread that pulled her whole life back into alignment. She used to think signs were for other people, for luckier people. Not anymore. Not since 1010 found her, and kept finding her. One evening, walking home from her new job, she passes the old banyan tree in the park where she and Divine still meet on Sundays. The streetlights flicker on, one by one, against the dusky sky, gold spreading slowly over the rooftops. She stops for a moment, just to breathe it in, the city lights, the distant hum of traffic, the warm ache of a heart that finally feels like it's moving forward, not just surviving one long day at a time. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago, exhausted, doubtful, folding towels at 11 at night and wondering if any of it meant anything at all. She wants to reach back through time and tell her, it does. It all means something. Every hard hour, every missed birthday, every lonely night was never wasted. It was preparing you, for a doorway you couldn't see yet, but were always, quietly, walking toward. With her new position and better pay, Malaya finally starts saving, not just sending, but saving. For the first time in years, she opens a small account with a plan attached to it. In 2 years, she will have enough to help her mother open the little sari store she always dreamed of, and enough to finally, go home for Sunshine's birthday in person, not through a screen, but with her own 2 arms wide open. She marks the date on her small calendar, taped beside Sunshine's photo. Sunshine's next birthday. Malaya smiles every time she looks at it. Funny, she thinks, how one small number, appearing again and again in the most ordinary moments, a bus fare, a receipt, a clock, became the quiet thread that pulled her whole life back into alignment. She used to think signs were for other people, for luckier people. Not anymore. Not since 1010 found her, and kept finding her. One evening, walking home from her new job, she passes the old banyan tree in the park where she and Divine still meet on Sundays. The streetlights flicker on, one by one, against the dusky sky, gold spreading slowly over the rooftops. She stops for a moment, just to breathe it in, the city lights, the distant hum of traffic, the warm ache of a heart that finally feels like it's moving forward, not just surviving one long day at a time. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago, exhausted, doubtful, folding towels at 11 at night and wondering if any of it meant anything at all. She wants to reach back through time and tell her, it does. It all means something. Every hard hour, every missed birthday, every lonely night was never wasted. It was preparing you for a doorway you couldn't see yet, but were always, quietly, walking toward. Malaya still sees 1010 sometimes. Not as often now, as if, having crossed the threshold it once pointed toward, the number has quietly stepped back, its work gently done. But when it does appear, she no longer questions it. She simply smiles, places a hand over her heart, and whispers, "I hear you, and I'm listening." A small habit. A private, sacred little ritual, just for her, carried quietly through every ordinary day. She started sharing her story now, in a small online group for Filipino workers abroad, women scattered across Hong Kong, Dubai, Singapore, Riyadh, Rome. She tells them about the number, and more than that, about what it taught her, that new beginnings don't require perfect conditions. They only require a willing heart, ready to notice, and brave enough to take one small step, even a trembling one, toward a door that hasn't fully opened yet. Many of the women write back. Some say they've seen 1010 too, and never understood why, until now. Some say they needed this story tonight, more than they could explain in words. Malaya reads every message slowly, on her days off, sitting under the banyan tree with Divine beside her. She realizes something quietly beautiful. Her hardest chapter has become someone else's gentle beginning. That, too, she thinks, feels like alignment, like a circle finally closing. On the morning of her flight home, for Sunshine's birthday at last, Malaya wakes before her alarm. She checks the time out of old habit. 10:10, she smiles, unsurprised now, almost fond, the way you'd greet an old friend waiting at the door. Perfect timing, she whispers, zipping her suitcase, the same one she left with 3 years ago, now carrying gifts instead of goodbyes, hope instead of heaviness. The plane lifts off Hong Kong's skyline into a soft morning haze. Malaya presses her palm to the small window, watching the city that held her tired, hopeful years slowly shrink beneath the clouds. She thinks of every version of herself who walked through the same airport, the frightened newcomer, the lonely worker, the woman who once cried quietly through a thin apartment wall. All of them, she thinks, gently, led her here, to this exact seat, this exact moment. When she lands in Iloilo, the humid air wraps around her like a familiar hug she didn't know she'd missed this much. And there, past the arrival gate, is Sunshine, taller now, hair in 2 neat braids, holding a handmade sign that says, "Welcome home, Mama," in crooked, careful letters. Malaya drops her bag and runs the last few steps, the way you only run toward the people you have missed with your whole body, your whole heart. Her mother stands just behind Sunshine, tears already falling, arms already open wide. For a long moment, no one says anything at all. They just hold each other, 3 generations of women who sacrificed and waited and believed, wrapped together in an airport hallway that smells like home. Malaya closes her eyes and thinks, simply, new beginnings. This is what they look like. Not perfect. Just, deeply, quietly whole, in a way she didn't know she'd been missing. That night, at Sunshine's birthday dinner, surrounded by family she hasn't touched in 3 years, Malaya glances at her phone one more time, almost as a private joke with herself now. 10:10, she laughs softly and turns the screen toward her mother, who simply smiles and nods, as if to say, "Yes, Anak. We know. We've always known." Some doors, once you walk through them fully, never quite close behind you again. In the months that follow, Malaya splits her time between a new local caregiving role and helping her mother open that small sari-sari store, its shelves stocked with rice, canned goods, and a small framed sign near the register that simply reads, 1010, in her own handwriting. Customers sometimes ask what it means. Malaya always answers the same way, with a small, knowing smile. It means, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it doesn't feel like it yet. If you are far from home tonight, tired, uncertain, wondering if your sacrifices are leading anywhere at all, let this be your sign. The number that keeps finding you is not an accident. It is an invitation to trust the timing of your life, even the parts that ache, even the nights that feel too long and too heavy to carry alone. New beginnings rarely arrive all at once. They arrive quietly, the way morning arrives, one small, gentle degree of light at a time, until suddenly, the whole sky is bright. Wherever you are watching from tonight, Manila, Dubai, Riyadh, Hong Kong, or simply your own living room, may 1010 find you exactly when you need it most. May it remind you that you are aligned, you are loved, and you are never walking this road alone, no matter how far from home you feel. If this story touched you, tell us below, have you been seeing 1010 too? And if you believe your breakthrough is coming, subscribe, and walk through this door with us. Until next time, stay aligned, stay open, and trust the light that keeps quietly, patiently, finding you.